Hey guys, guess what? I get to use the meme again. So, to absolutely nobody's surprise, Highguard is on its way out. The fact that it was ever on its way anywhere is kind of incredible. This game that had no beta, no public testing, no real focus grouping that I could be aware of, and a whole bunch of just vibes and visuals that looked like they were generated by AI. The game flow was terrible, the characters were not memorable, and the game was thrust into the spotlight by Jeff Keighley when it clearly was not prepared to be, or really even built to be. It's a game that absolutely nobody asked for, and needed way more public testing and public opinion before it was prepared for a full launch. But also, it was a game that had every opportunity to prove us wrong. Because of that gigantic profile that Jeff Keighley artificially gave it, the game debuted with an almost 100,000 concurrent player peak on Steam alone, and then it lost all those players almost immediately because the game itself had nothing going for it. I made this comparison in a different video, but if this was like a Marvel Rivals situation where the game is revealed and everyone's like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. This is generic. It's just a ripoff. But then you go and try it and it maintains a player base because despite being derivative, it is extremely well made. Highguard had every opportunity to be the next Marvel Rivals in the sense that it is derivative and it didn't have a lot of unique ideas, but it also had a high enough profile that it was in the perfect scenario to prove everybody wrong. But the fact of the matter is it could not maintain a player base because it just was not fun. So now here we are less than a month after launch, and Wildlight Entertainment, the developers, have seemingly laid off most of the staff. And it seems like an official shutdown of Highguard it's just around the corner. And I mean, even now, you go to the Steam charts, there's less than 2,000 people online. Granted, I'm recording this in the middle of the day on February 12th, because I gotta fucking go out of town and go to Hollywood and play this goddamn show, listen to my band, Curbside Anthem, Pluggo Pluggo. But I mean, you can't even manage 2,000 people during non-peak hours. This game was never going to survive. Not with the kind of money that's gone into it. These numbers are sustainable for a much smaller project, but for such a high profile project, there was no way this was going to last. The game completely flopped on Steam, the game has no audience on console. This was inevitable, and that is nobody's fault but the game's. The game had every opportunity and every platform to prove the naysayers wrong, and it was not able to. But now, Twitter's doing the weird Twitter thing where, remember this video I made a couple weeks ago when the game came out and the game was getting criticized, and then all of a sudden like a bunch of random Twitter people came out and were like, man, this game's actually amazing, you guys need to stop complaining, this game is incredible. Meanwhile, the player counts are just dropping because nobody's playing the game. I'm convinced the people who brag about the game aren't even playing the game, because how do you have all these people bragging about how great the game is when this is what the player charts look like? That doesn't make sense to me. Something's not computing unless this is just yet another case of the internet deciding that there's no possible way that gamers can actually be correct about something, and they have to protect the corpo slop for no reason. And now that the announcement's been made that Highguard is basically on its way out, it's being slowly shuffled towards the door, now, all of a sudden, all of the Highguard fans are coming out of their caves and being like, guys, this is your fault. This is the gamers' fault for not supporting the game. Buddy, where were you? You could have supported the game. I couldn't help but notice that nobody was supporting the game. I don't really feel like this is gamers' fault. I kind of feel like this was just a shit game that wasn't made for anybody. The point is, the announcement was made that Highguard is being shown the door. I want to show the meme again. And I don't know if it's just because these people genuinely don't like gamers and don't want gamers to be right about something, or if it's some kind of corpo slop addiction, but a whole bunch of people suddenly got really upset about the fact that Highguard is failing, and that this wouldn't be happening if gamers just ate the fucking slop. Stupid gamers. And yes, the situation really is as stupid as I'm making it sound. Don't believe me? Look at this. AP Julia says the best FPS to release in years, dead in weeks because of people who didn't even play the game. Steam needs to add 1 hour minimum playtime requirement for reviews. Bonnie, can I help you? Bonnie, that's an entire bag. You need to get it off of your head. I'm sorry, I don't want you to fucking die. I happen to care quite a lot about you, which is why I take care of all of your needs, and you put a fucking bag on your head, bro. See, this is what's funny to me. You can't blame the people who didn't play the game for the failure of the game. You also can't blame negative reviews for the failure of the game, because I can name a laundry list of games that have very negative reviews and still have a very healthy player base. I'm old enough to remember when DayZ was at the top of the Steam charts with like a 20% approval rating. I mean, fuck, look at Overwatch. Overwatch is cranking numbers right now, and Overwatch has had a perfectly healthy player base on Steam, and I don't think the user reviews have ever even gotten above mixed. You cannot blame the people who didn't like the game for the failure of the game, especially when this is what the Steam charts looked like. I'm going to keep coming back to this chart because it completely destroys the idea that there was some kind of review bombing campaign and that's why the game died. That people didn't give the game a chance and that's why the game died. People did give the game a chance. That's why the charts looked like this for a brief moment. But then they died because the game couldn't hold their attention. There was no small but consistent audience for this game. There was no audience at all for this game. And that's not the gamer's fault, that's the game's fault. You can't turn around and blame gamers for this. They made a game that nobody wanted. Ego says, just like with XDefiant, another game that dies undeservedly because of waves of senseless hate from people who don't have the slightest fucking clue about video games and don't even reach 30 minutes played, you shouldn't be allowed to leave reviews on Steam with less than 10 hours played. I love this one because XDefiant died for completely different reasons. Like, there's no way we're comparing this to XDefiant right now. Also, how the fuck are you equating this to XDefiant, a game that wasn't on Steam and had no public user reviews or player time? Like, how are you even making this comparison? It literally doesn't work. XDefiant was on a different platform that didn't have the tools that Steam does to give you this information. Where the fuck are you getting this information to make that comparison? It does not work. And XDefiant actually had a very strong community at first. The problem with XDefiant was lack of post-launch content and lack of post-launch support, lack of bug fixes, lack of server fixes. Highguard had no audience from the start. They had a lot of people trying it and nobody stuck with it. XDefiant had a lot of people trying it and a lot of people sticking with it, and those people petered out over time because of a lack of post-launch support from Ubisoft. These are two entirely different scenarios. And also, XDefiant, controversially apparently, wasn't slop. XDefiant didn't feel like it was made by AI. XDefiant felt like an actual game with an actual vision, but not enough financial support from the publisher. XDefiant also had a bunch of play tests before going live, a bunch of public betas before going live. These are just so not the same scenario. But also, I say it again, if you think Highguard was so great and worthy of praise and worthy of playtime, where were you? Like, you could have been populating the servers. I kind of get the feeling you weren't. Big Dog says, genuinely don't understand the viewpoints of people who hate this game. There is so much worse that gets pushed constantly. The game is free. I don't understand. So, because it's free and there are worse games somewhere, then just play it, guys. Just play it. It's not the worst game ever. Just fucking play it, idiot. What are you doing? The game is free and not the worst game of all time. Therefore, you should have played it, dummy. Like, what is it about this game? Genuinely, what is it about this game that is getting so much retroactive blind defense? Like, what is going on here? Why are we mental gymnasticking the defense of this game after it's too late? Where were you 5 minutes ago? Or I guess if you wanted your opinion to matter, where were you 5 days ago? 5 weeks ago? Yin says, if Highguard has 1 million fans, then I am one of them. If Highguard has 10 fans, then I am one of them. If Highguard has only 1 fan, then that is me. If the world is against Highguard, then I am against the world. Genuinely don't have a joke for this one. Moving on. Sam says, people poured years of their lives into creating this game and their reward is losing their jobs. This industry sucks. Call me heartless, but I don't feel bad. Like, I just don't. Like, I feel bad for the ground level developers, sure, who are just following marching orders and trying to get a job in the industry. But do I feel bad big picture for the lack of financial success of people who spent years making a game that nobody wanted? No, I don't feel bad. You're not owed success just because you tried really hard. I could put an infinite amount of effort and an infinite amount of money into something that nobody wants. I'm not owed success just because I tried and invested in it. If I make a product that nobody wants, that is not the people's fault for not buying it. That is my fault for not having the kind of awareness to not have put so much time and money into something nobody wants. That's what you people need to understand. Highguard had everything going for it. not against it, going for it. Because yeah, the reveal was shit. Yeah, the reveal was memed. But also, there was so much of a spotlight on this game that if it was good, it would have exploded. But it didn't. That is not the consumer's fault. It sucks that people are losing their jobs. I feel really bad for the people who like just got into game development, joined this new studio, and they're like, all right, for our first project, we're making this. And you're like, okay. Those are the people I feel bad for. But the people making these decisions, I don't feel bad for them at all. What the fuck were you doing with all that talent? You had a team of game developers, and it was your job to lead them. It was your job to bring them to a successful place. And you didn't do that because you don't have the awareness to make something people want. I do not feel bad for you. This is your fault. Zach Mazer says, feel so bad for this team. Review bombed by over 14,000 reviews with less than 15 minutes of playtime within 24 hours of release. To be clear, one game is 8 to 35 minutes. Outside of FPS optimization issues, the hate it got was unreal. Have you ever considered that maybe you booted up the game and had major optimization issues and then left a negative review because it takes less than 15 minutes to realize there are major optimization issues? Like, if you go back and look at those reviews from launch day, the game was a technical mess. It wasn't just that the gameplay was shit and uninspired, the game was technically a mess as well. And yeah, it takes less than 15 minutes to identify technical problems. If you're going to have a big high-profile launch, you better iron that shit out. That's why I resent this idea that like, oh, these people had less than the amount of time it takes to play a match and they left a negative review. Even by also rereading this tweet, they had less than 15 minutes of playtime. A game is 8 to 35 minutes long. Okay, so they had enough playtime to play a match then. You fucking dork. But also, if I boot up a game and it's a technical mess and I don't want to deal with it, and it was free to play, so there's nothing like financially keeping me there, yeah, I'm gonna piss off and I might leave a negative review. Fix the game. You want my time? You want to pull me away from other games? Make it worth playing. Don't give me such a shit first impression with bad optimization. That's not review bombing, that is a genuine negative review. Why is this hard to understand? Panic says, sick and tired of the state of gaming communities, 14,000 reviews of players with under 15 minutes of playtime. Interesting that we're focusing on that. When people don't like games, they need to be destructive rather than finding enjoyment somewhere else. The most fun games to launch in years, enjoy going back to COD, idiots. I love that. I love that. It's like you have to destroy the, just go play something else if you don't like it. Yeah, they did. They did go play something else. That's why we're here now. If you don't like it, go play something else. People go play something else. Wait, no, not like that. Like, come back, play the game. Gobbler says, oh, this one's nuts. This one's nutty. Gobbler says, it's utterly comical to think people actually believe something like Expedition 33 is this transcendental, godlike experience worthy of endless praise, but that Highland is generic gutter slop deserving of all the hate and controversy, ultimately leading to a studio shutdown. So, we're actually comparing Expedition 33 to Highguard. We're actually comparing Expedition 33 to Highguard. And Highguard is the better game here in this comparison. I'm just gonna move on. I have one more here. Bandy Bluff says PC players are ruining gaming with their lack of attention span. We console players didn't review bomb, but of course the PC losers had to. Fuck them. Yeah, no, console players didn't review bomb the game. That's why the Metacritic page for the console version of Highguard looks like this. Yeah, you guys didn't review bomb the game. No. But also, even if you're right, even if you're totally right that no console players gave negative reviews of Highguard, you didn't fucking play it either. Like, this isn't a matter of review bombing, it's a matter of lack of players. And I'll say it again, negative reviews don't keep people from playing the game. There's plenty of games with negative reviews with giant player bases. The negative reviews are not what sunk this game. The game is what sunk this game. So, listen, I really don't know what you want me to say at this point. I don't know how this wasn't the most predictable thing of all time. It should have been the most predictable thing of all time. I'm gonna go back to playing Backyard Baseball. A game from fucking 2001 that is infinitely more enjoyable. And I don't really know why I brought that up. I don't know why I said that, but it's what I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to do. Doofus Club time. Hyperactive Turtle, Cards, Gaming, Dead People, Nate, Grimsy, Official Dregs, Why Can't We Murder the Fan Tards, Eat Them, Face Bones. Google the harpeggi. It's an amazing instrument. Harpeggi, like scales in your harpeggios. I made that joke yesterday and nobody laughed. The Gamer 127 YT, Blast 1340, Mayo, Setsuna, Biscuit 1101, West of Rex, Hentai, Io, 6, Click, Flicks, Blu-ray Discs, Delta 169, Barafon, Vodahom, Unicorn, Rock, Goji, Fan 2005, Bill 310 Char, AIS, Slop that makes me Microsoft, Kushka, Doug, Nigsy, Smile, Dirty Mike of the Boys, Vaz Dennis stole my 9 dozen eggs, Joe, get him! Max Louis 2 Gaming, It's a Hard Nug Life, Nice Dude, One Man Savage, No Payoff, Vector, Vindanachi, Mechanical Resonance, Sick Nick, Mad Fox 94, Exchange, Induction, Bear Brain, Stick Rider, Broken Crayon, Purple off the backing, and just took an Epic Tim and wiped my Sweeney. It's like a butt. Vast Dennis, Musky Big Fudge, Thrash, I've been up, Club Penguin, Judge 6, Molten, Lizard, Oracle, Jimmy Chops, Master Killer, Tom Snorlax, and Unknown 186718, but they said Highguard does not need many players. They were wrong. Edge Shadow Bear 1789, Bender Fondue, T Train Reisner, Non Volant, High Partial Me 8, Volksauto, Snake Eyes 327, MK2396E. Xbox gonna Game of Fire has 105 Tech Gaming, Slim Jim, Lord Baz the Second, Joe Laughs, Dust the Mo, Gay Local Adult with Odyssey, Beast Gamers, Jester Shepherd, Ricky Spy, Ricky Dabby, Xylophone, Doofus Prince Academy, Crew the Sail Angel, Tripsters, Kobe, Nova Final Fantasy 7 on Switch, 2 Lim Foul, Cyber 671, 2X940. Joe, if you can guess my what my name is next, I'll do it. It is bear with vodka. That so wasn't funny. Creed Warrior 23 Max Chev. Totally insane. Joe, explain why Gara is pregnant. You dirty whore. Night of Cypher. Malmo 04. Wolf of Midnight. EKW. Steve Win Studios. Film Kraken. Gaming. Tariq Brown. Thornton. Scored. Scored. Magnac 7 Evans. Mr. 3. Skyline for Wangspur. Pow Pow. Donnie Weston. Gob Godson. Rogue. Moinser 919. Zach Thane. Hangman for Hire. Ellen Noble. Frost Crystal. By Genesis. Mango Cheese. Go. Ghost Ho. Rhea. Soggy Raptors. Him. I'm 794. Blue Hook. When in doubt. Face the wind. Wank it out. Mr. Techno Squeak. Jody Petey. Mega Bidgen. Midjans. Make advertisements. DOC. Begins. I American Idiot. Harmon says the other chin. Oh no. System. Raven. Tuning. Wolf 7. Retro. West Edge. JMM. SG. Veg. Groove. Banana. Kernel. Specs. All have there's no Tooth Fairy. That's again the tutu. Whoo. Okay. That one was pretty fast. That one was pretty fast. Pretty impressive there, Joe. Pretty impressive. If you're so good at this game, why doesn't Highguard have more players, Joe? I don't know, Joe. Why don't you eat my butt? Okay, toodles.